Data-driven.
Hi, this is Data-Driven Insights, and today I want to talk about behavioral data science of healthy eating. So we have recently completed a project with my colleague Marco del Vecchio, with whom we looked at healthy eating habits. And essentially, we know from previous research, so I'm going to make some suggestions at the bottom of this video, that when people cook at home, they eat a lot healthier than when they eat out. So currently, as you know, we're all forced to cook at home, right? Because a lot of us live under quarantine conditions, and we actually have an option of cooking at home, or we have an option of getting takeaways. But essentially, you know, a lot of people are kind of in conditions when they have to make an effort and cook. So essentially, home cooking makes you healthier, so we know that. However, we don't know why. And for example, if we take someone who has issues with healthy eating and we put them at home and we encourage them to cook themselves, would this change their tastes? Would this change their tastes from unhealthy to healthy? So that was the premise of this project, and this is what we wanted to find out. So let's look at the results a little bit more closely. So essentially what we have done to study this problem was we went to the website that is called Food Network, and this website represents a collection of recipes. So if you have a nice recipe that you want to recommend to other people, you can go on this website, write down this recipe, write down all the ingredients and instructions how to cook this particular recipe, and then people would have an opportunity to rate this recipe. So the ratings go from basically 0 to 5 or 1 to 5, where basically 5 is the best ranking. And what we have done first, we decided to look at the healthiness coefficient of the recipe and basically the rating that people give it. How did we calculate the healthiness coefficient? So as you know, like when you buy various products as well, particularly in the UK, but in other countries it's similar, you can actually see the nutritional value at the back, right? So you get this information, and sometimes in some countries you have street light type of information at the back, where you have green, amber, red system, which shows you that this food is healthy. So if it's green, or unhealthy if it's red. So essentially we had this type of nutritional information, and we were able to rank based on ingredients that went into each recipe, the healthiness coefficient of this recipe. So, and basically on the vertical axis here, you can see the rating that people give to a particular recipe, and this is the healthiness index. And healthiness index goes from 1 to 5, where 1 is unhealthy and 5 is healthy. And as you can see, we have this curve that basically says that people people's satisfaction with recipes increase with healthiness, but up to a point. So basically it increases when healthiness goes from 2.5 to 4. Why we don't have 1 here is just that there were no really unhealthy stuff on the website. So the lowest coefficient we had was 2.5. So essentially from this graph you can see that people normally rate their satisfaction with the recipe increases with the healthiness coefficient, but up to a point such that, really healthy things are probably not very tasty, right? So that's why we kind of see a slight decline at the top here. So people have increasing satisfaction as the healthiness increases, but for very healthy things, their satisfaction declines. Which is kind of natural, what we would observe. So on the one hand, if we just looked at this graph, it would seem that people actually prefer to eat healthy things when they cook at home. And remember, on Food Network, these are the recipes that they have to cook themselves. However, when we actually look at the nutrients, so when we look at the composition of each recipe and we break it down into nutrients, so by nutrients I mean, for example, sugar, fat, vitamins, fiber, things like this. So, and when we actually map the satisfaction with the nutrients, where again we have satisfaction on the vertical axis and benefit risk coefficient on the horizontal axis, where negative coefficient means that it's really unhealthy stuff. So, for example, sugar and fat would be in that category, and positive coefficient means that it's really healthy stuff like vitamins. What we can see is the U-shaped curve. So what does this U-shaped curve mean? So it basically means that if when people cook at home, they don't actually start to like healthy nutrients more. So it's not like they start to like vitamins and stop liking sugar and fat. So remember, sugar and fat is here and vitamins would be here. But what happens is, what we see here is that even when people cook at home, they still like the sugar and fat, but they also like the vitamins. So essentially, this tells us that even if we ask somebody who has issues with healthy eating to cook at home, they will not stop liking, things that are not good for them, like sugar and fat. So what does this research tell us? Essentially, what this tells us is that when people cook at home, it doesn't make them like healthier nutrients more, right? They still like sugar and fat just as they liked it, with, for example, takeaways or any other types of meals. However, why people eat healthier when they eat at home is because they make a better compositions of nutrients when they cook themselves. So essentially they use less sugar and less fat when they do their own cooking. So that's why people cook healthier meals when they cook them themselves, rather than, when they take takeaways or eat in a restaurant. So that's the outcome of this project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot and keep thinking.